In the last 5 or so months, I have come across some of the most vile Jew hate content some of y'all could never imagine. Like, there's some stuff that I can't necessarily show on the internet, or at least not in this way. I am working to build out a community on Patreon so we can go ahead and see more of that type of stuff there. And I don't think anything obviously comes close to the ultimate Jew hate video of our time, which is the footage from October 7th. Right. And truth be told, I can't get through the entire thing. I just can't. I've seen enough to know what I need to know. Now, being somebody who is openly a friend of the Jewish people, and I see this hatred for what it is, it irks my spirit that there is this massive shift in Gen Z specifically. Now, I myself am on the cusp of millennial and Gen Z, right? I was born in 96, which means that I am right there on the last year of millennial, entering into the first year of Gen Z. So I have points of relation between both of the two worlds when it comes to personality and things of that nature, right? And so I can relate to both in an essence. But what I have been seeing as far as, let me just go ahead and show y'all this clip. Now, this guy is a streamer in the likes of Kaisenat and, a guy like iShowSpeed, who I showed a video of not too long ago, doing something similar to this. But this is just overall disturbing. And I feel it's a perfect example of the article we're going to get into that's going to follow this up, which is this rising, what most would call anti-Semitism. I like to call just straight up Jew hate that is taking place in Gen Z. And then, on the other side, I want to get to, I guess, aspects of the antidote for this. Not like I here sitting in this little room am going to solve this. It's not about that. But how do we combat what is currently taking place? So let me go ahead and run this first.
Don't give a I don't know what the hell going on. I don't know who started it. I don't give a damn who started it. The cops are wrong. All Jews. All right. Now, that's from my own personal experience. That's from my own personal experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even checking what's going on. I don't give a damn about the timeline. All I want to see is 60,000 nukes bombing Israel. That's all I want to see. Take over Israel, Iran. See red. Win. 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 BAU is on your side.
Now, God has been working with me. The Lord knows he's been working with me when it comes to where my heart is positioned when it comes to everything. And so my approach to this is changing bit by bit. My conviction will never change. As a matter of fact, that's intensifying. The urgency and the necessity for this message is intensifying, but my perspective has shifted. Now, I'm going to start at this place, which may be an uncommon for some, which is scripture. The words of Messiah, Yeshua himself. We fight not against what, but instead against what and what. We fight not against flesh and blood. It's not the people we're looking to fight, though that's what we see on the surface. And, again, war is ugly no matter how it looks, but this is beyond war. Instead, we fight against principalities and wickedness in high places. The evil that we're seeing that is being exhibited through these seemingly demonically possessed. And some will think that that's an over exaggeration, almost like like we're caricaturizing this. But I mean what I say when I say demonic and evil and dark. These kids think they're doing it for attention, but this is the same as selling one's soul for the dollar. That's what that is. That's no joke. You have sold your soul for $1. Period. This one is one of the wildest ones, if not the wildest one that I can show in this sort of capacity. He says, I don't care how it started. I don't care who's in the right. I simply want to see the Jewish people fill in the rest. Now, I'm not playing this in order to create deeper disturbance, but again, that likely has to happen in the process of revealing a truth or the truth, because there's small t truth, there's big T truth. And so let me go ahead and get into this article. Again, I'm reading this for the first time, so if there are things I don't agree with, I will let that be known. But as far as the subject matter itself, it does not take a genius at this point to realize that this is a real phenomenon. So let me go ahead and just size this up. On Wednesday night, a Turning Point USA event at Virginia Tech honoring the late Charlie Kirk took an ugly turn. A male student stood up and asked the popular podcaster Megyn Kelly if she was concerned about the growing, unseeming influence of rich billionaire Jews on American politics. Did you say rich billionaire Jews? An incredulous Kelly responded. Oh, look at... I'm sorry, I can't help myself. It's just every... Okay. Yes, the questioner said, and if this was a completely this was a completely normal topic to bring up. It's only one example of the abnormal fixation younger Americans have on Israel and Jews. The young man seems to be aligned with the progressive left, which has long flirted with this kind of rhetoric. Well, guess what? It is not just the left. There's much of this happening on the quote unquote alleged right, the so-called Christians out there who are pushing this sort of Jew-hating nonsense, which is actually demonic at its core. It is antichrist at its core, because Christ's personhood is that of a Jew, referred to by 12 other Jewish men as rabbi, translating into teacher. Yeshua, that is a Jewish name. Let us continue. It's just one more example of the abnormal fixation of young Americans have on Israel and Jews. The young man seems to be aligned with the progressive left, which has long flirted with this kind of rhetoric. But similar comments are increasingly spreading on the right as well. Even in the glare of the public spotlight. Just the other day, disgraced former... Good for you, New York Post. Good for you on this one. Disgraced former Fox News host, well, let's call him by his real name, Tehran Taliban Tucker Carlson, who has developed a creepy laugh and monomaniacal obsession with Jews, used Kirk's otherwise inspiring memorial in Arizona to suggest that a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus in Jerusalem had something to do with silencing the late TPUSA leader. The statement seems tailor-made to create division between Jews and Christians. It is absolutely that. It is demonic. Fellow Christians, we're not called to that. We're called to be salt and light. We're called to be an example. We're called to evangelize and be straight up about the gospel in the same way, former Jews were, who had the truth revealed to them, i.e., Saul of Tarsus, who became Paul, the Apostle Paul, etc. So, yeah, of course that, but the hate part, no, never called to that one. That one's not in scripture. Sorry. Though facts rarely dissuade conspiracy theorists, it's true. It's hard to fix stupid. It's objectively false to contend that Jewish people have an outsized influence on the Trump administration. Here's a list of the president's top 12 donors in 2024. Timothy Malone, Linda McMahon, Diane Hendricks, Miriam, etc., etc., etc. Only one of these billionaires is Jewish. Look here, folks. We're not looking for facts, okay? We told you it's the damn cheers. We said what we said, all right? We don't want your facts. We don't want, here's the correct information. No, to hell with you and your correct. We want Cuckoo Candace. We want Taliban Carlson, all right? I'm going to tell you for the last time here, all right? I don't know what accent that is. I think there was like a mishmash of a little southern, I don't know what that was. But that's probably what the demon that is existing in Carlson actually sounds like. We don't care about facts. We don't care about who's actually putting the most money into these politicians' pockets. No. Iran Shmiran. You know what I mean? Russia, Flussia. Oh, it's the Jews. Duh. Why? Because Candace said so. And, she literally knows everything about everything. She doesn't even need whatever information. If you just send an email to tips at, cuckoocandace.com, you can literally send her information and you become a source. So her source is freaking legit because it's basically me in my grandmother's basement. Shout out to your grandma's basement, by the way. Let us continue. Yet only one of these billionaires is Jewish. There were, as far as I can tell, 4 other Jewish donors in the top 25. Yet you may notice that paranoid Israel haters on the right are fixated on billionaires like Larry Ellison and Bill Ackman, a longtime Democrat who deflected to the GOP in part because of the left's embrace of Hamas apologists, and not Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy or Peter Thiel or many others. Carlson, for instance, blames Fox News personality and radio host Mark Levine for convincing Trump to kaboom Iranian nuclear sites. Yeah, it wasn't 15 years worth of intel that they had on Iranian nuclear sites that was behind, what do they call it? Operation Midnight Hammer. Sounds like a Trump type name, doesn't it? No, it had nothing to do with the 15 years of intel. It was Mark who convinced them because he's the one Jew on that network. Yeah. Your demon is acting up. Indeed, the podcaster assured his credulous audience that Levine was leading the United States into World War III at the behest of foreigners. Yeah, that one really worked out. It was really sad when Candace's 4-year-old got sent to the war. And he had to die for Israel at 4 years old. Crazy stuff. We will never forget. We expect this kind of aspersion. We expect this kind of aspersion from the progressive left, not alleged conservatives. I love the word alleged. I love that. Who wrote this? So are you tuning in? How do you know this? Do you have a camera in here? That's crazy. One can say many things about Donald Trump, but the notion that his positions can be bought by campaign funds stretches credulous. Yeah, I mean, no, he can't be bought because that was the whole thing, right? Trump can't be bought except by the Jews. Okay, how convenient. Besides, no one needs to buy Trump's support for Israel, considering he's been an on-the-record vocal champion of the Jewish state for nearly 40 years. When Trump this week met on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly with French President Macron, the dude, right? Not the chick who the other chick is calling a dude, but the dude, Emmanuel, who had just... I realize I have the same name as this guy. My name is Tinashe. God is with us. Emmanuel, God is with us. Oh, what a shame. Who had just rewarded Hamas with unilateral recognition of an imaginary Palestinian state. He made his position known. Well, I have to say that I'm on the side of Israel, Trump says. I've been on the side of Israel really my whole life. It is difficult to argue that any president has been a better friend. Trump was offering pro-Israel statements years before he was in public or political office, years before he had any donors, and years before Benjamin Netanyahu, the boogeyman of Jew baiters, was Israel's prime minister. It is also objectively false that American Jews are an ideological monolith. I've spent 20 years publicly disagreeing with numerous Jewish American organizations and individuals, and I can assure you we don't have the secret meeting to plot control of the world. I've never met a Jewish billionaire. Well, I've got a few for you, buddy. Jews, though, are the only ethnic group that is collectively smeared as fifth columnists for advocating for causes they believe in. One of the popular issues among many American Jews is championing the longstanding U.S. alliance with Israel, a wholly moral, constructive, and defensible position that many individuals and groups openly advocate. The insinuation that it's nefarious to do so is only peddled by bigots unwilling or unable to debate the issue in good faith. Just say the word. It's stupid. The word is stupid, dumb, moronic, retarded. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I mean it in the literal sense of the word. What is the word retarded definition? Let's see. Less advanced in mental, physical, or social development. So we're going to go with the mental here. Less developed in mental faculties or development, especially for one's age, right? Simple. Sounds relatively nice concerning many of these types of people. It's clear that the stigma associated with spreading ugly tropes about Jews is disappearing. It's been that way in the conspiratorial swamp of social media and podcasting for a while. Now it's being normalized and, dare I say, monetized in the real world. And there's a conversation to be had about the monetary aspect, the audiences that you garner. You know, it is I hate to say it, but it is a money-making machine. You have a wide audience. At the very least, you're going to have the Islamists. That's already 1 point somewhat billion, almost 2 billion if you really to count them all. Sheesh. But how much for your soul? How much for your soul? Now, Gen Z, like many other generations, especially when you're young, you know, there's a deep tendency to just follow whatever the mainstream narrative is. Therefore, information is actually key. And it's one thing when you have two-way communication, like what Charlie tried to do throughout his life, and they took his life for, in essence. You need to also have a powerful one-way stream of communication. Now, when you have people who are actual advocates of something, proponents, you need to assert your messaging over and over and over. That's how propaganda works on the other side with the lies. If you have the truth, you need to be perpetually pushing your message out into the ether with the same level of conviction and intensity. Gen Z is on these devices and they're going to run into somebody saying something. Make sure it's not cuckoo, el cuckoo, la candice. Make sure it's not the likes of those individuals. Make sure it's you or the people that you stand behind and you support these sort of voices. Make sure it's those voices that are elevated. We have a decision to make who we make famous. I mean, God, I believe, is the one who will elevate you to a place of, if it's a blessing, Somebody else can also, right? There's another entity that can also bring you to a place of prominence, but that will never last. You got a contract, you sold your soul for real, then you're going to have to pay up at some point. But besides that, we have an obligation to continue. And there's been so many who are doing so. And it took a lot for the Jewish people themselves to recognize, oh boy, we can't be lukewarm about this situation. Now, at the core of it, as a Christian man, I will say that a return to God, the true living God, Yeshua, the Messiah who came, died for our sins so we may be saved. Oh, that irks me. That triggers me. I can't do that. Oh, no. And I say, okay, every man has his appointed hour. Every man has his appointed time. And every man has free will because that is love. But at the core of it, it's going to be that. And even just to understand evil, like nothing did a greater job of solidifying my knowing of God. And I've been through some stuff where you're like, you just can't shake it. You can't unsee what you saw in beautiful and positive ways. But nothing has done the solidification than seeing how evil can truly be. How brokenness can truly be. And so there is goodness, but we have to be aligned with that goodness. We have to choose and we have to be obedient to that goodness. Otherwise, we're just flailing around, seemingly wasting away, right? Focus on the things that really don't matter at all. And these kids are going to be eating up information that is delivered somewhere. So, in the truest, I guess, let me actually look this up. The word propaganda, because there is a negative connotation with just the word, right? What is the simple definition? To spread ideas or information or rumors for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution. So here, boom. So it's propaganda, technically. Spreading of ideas, information, or rumors. No rumors part. It should be ideas and information that is being spread to help. We should be on that side of the propaganda machine. Ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause, and it must be deliberate and intentional. You do so in your daily life every single day. Most of us have a platform in some sort of way. We cannot shut up. We cannot stop. We cannot falter in it. And this also comes down to our day in, day out belief systems, or day in, day out actions and the way in which we live our lives. We must be an example of such. You can't let the little conversation of a boy's a girl and a girl's a boy just continue to go on without engaging and telling the truth, without that idea becoming a mainstream idea. Yes, they'll try to bully. Yes, they'll try to coerce. Yes, they'll try to do a multitude of things. They will, because they want to push their idea, right? Leftist ideology is about power, and the true fascist, which is actually started as left-wing ideal, but then they made it a right-wing thing, conveniently. Not saying the right is perfect or anything of that nature. We're seeing it today, and that's why we're addressing this. It's not just the leftist kids and the leftists. No, they're all eating this trash up because the trash is there to be consumed. Yes, we need more Charlies. Charlie was a friend of not just the Jewish people, but just the truth, the facts. Small T truth and big T truth. So, we got to be active continuously. And you do not, you can be discouraged. You can feel you want to give up. You can feel a whole lot of different things, feelings. But do not stop because of the feeling. You don't know who you're impacting or who you're speaking to. And maybe that's all it's about, is just reaching the ones we can reach. Maybe, as the word says, most will be deceived. In those times, most will fall away, but there will be also a revival. They will, on the other side, be a waking up that's taking place. And so we have to do our job and persist in it. Continue to run that race, right? Fight the good fight, in essence. That is our job. That's every single one of us. I'm not talking about because you have a microphone and a camera, but if you're called to that, again, you must do it. Don't wait until yesterday. Wait until 3 days before yesterday. You should have already been going. If that's what you're being called to do, get over yourself. That's one that's necessary. Get over yourself. I hear folks every day talking about, oh, well, I'm a Christian. And I say, really? Then why are you scared? If you believe that your God is mighty, if you believe that your God is a true living God, then why be moved or immobilized even by fear when you're told more than 365 times in this word, do not be afraid. Do not fear. Sure, you may feel the feeling of fear, but you don't let that stop you and restrain you from doing what you are ordered to do. Spiritual warfare. It is battle. And you have your general and you have your orders. And your job is relatively simple in most cases. Even if you shake, you stutter. You know that that Moses was likely a stutterer. And his job was to go tell Pharaoh, the most powerful physical man on the planet, to let his people go after 400 years of economic advantage because of the Hebrew slave. I mean, yes, he had Aaron that was sent with him, his brother, but imagine that. This guy's being sent. Could have sent anybody. This guy who is trembling and shaking in his speech is the man that is sent, but he did it anyways. First, unwillingly, oftentimes is, but he did it anyways. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, you staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, you I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind, I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks, I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people, I ain't